of all our hearts be acceptable in your sight, O Lord, our strength and our Redeemer.
Amen.
One of the first things that I noticed at LA Fitness the first time I walked in was the amount of mirrors on the walls. Which seems kind of strange at a gym because you hope there's some equipment and dumbbells, but mirrors seem to be everywhere. And the other thing I began to notice was that people like to look at themselves in these mirrors while they're doing all this exercising. Kind of slow pull-up, watching their biceps bulge. I kept thinking, well, I don't really want to look at myself in a mirror, that's why I'm here. But I also noticed that after a while, it's not that bad, and I began to say, you know what? I am actually marvelously made. The psalmist is right. There are parts of me that still need some work. I'd like those hands that hold the clay to get working a little better. But I've been given the gift of a body that functions to be able to do something about the parts of it I don't like. And so let's say, yeah, marvelously made, and with effort, and God keeps saying, move it, move it, move it, get there. Eventually I might get back to that. Maybe not a wrestling weight in high school, but at least to a place where I'm happy with it. And I'll know that if it will only be for diet and exercise, there will be nothing else. So I'm not so sure about some of the guys that are looking in the mirror at themselves in that gym. But as much as I may like my arms and my legs and my chest, I'm much more impressed with all the gifts of the body that God gave me is the brain. I think that to me is the coolest part of being human. To have been given an ability to think, to reason, to feel, to experience the presence of others, to experience all of God's beautiful creation around us. But of course, the other problem with thinking is that sometimes we can overthink. I looked at today's gospel as well, and Jesus lays out some really harsh statements. I want Jesus to tell me how to love people, not who I'm supposed to hate. And yet, it's pretty clear there. If you're going to follow him, he's saying, you might have some people that whose relationships at one time were very important to you, who might start to break away. You're going to have to count the cost of following me, he told those earliest disciples. And you may determine there's more to this than I'm willing to do. The sacrifices you're asking may be more than I can handle. How many of you have had to make a really hard decision at least some point in your life, if not very recently? And you're going through all the questions you know you need to ask. Do I have the time? Do I have the energy? Do I have the motivation? Do I have the money? And eventually, I get to a place where, okay, if I get the answers to all those questions, maybe I'll know. Maybe I'll make that decision and be able to go with it. But how many of you have also found that sometimes the questions get so overwhelming that the only thing you could possibly do is sit in a heap on the floor and sob? It's just too much. There are too many questions. I don't know that I have this. And the times when I find myself confronted with that, it is at that point that I said, remember, the psalm said, God knows my inmost thoughts. His hands are pressing before me, behind me, on top of me. And it is perhaps those strong, steady hands that, no, they're not real hands, but it's something that assures me that in this decision, and in all decisions, and in times when life seems like it's too much, that God is there. The person that I might have been in high school or elementary school, there's always been something molding me, changing me. Occasionally, if something chips away, or it's broken, or it feels like it's falling in on itself, that wheel starts spinning again, just like that pottery. It's a great one. But it is hard that when we think about those things, when we have to count the costs of the decisions we're trying to make. I think we should be blessed in this country that our faith doesn't seem to ask that much of us. We haven't, many of you, if I told you the only way you can be a Christian is you have to give up everything. Literally everything. I have a feeling that might be high a cost for all of us. But there is an aspect of following Christ that does involve some level of sacrifice, some level of perhaps disquiet or discomfort within. If everything was constantly pleasant and there was no challenge, and there was no possibility of getting it wrong, where would that be? Life would be way too easy. And our faith, in fact, we would not turn to our faith. We'd do like the Israelites did when things got a little too comfortable. We'd find other things to replace it. But again, as we start off our program year today, we can begin to keep hoping and praying for God's presence, molding our lives and our faith, to continue to shape it. Because as things outside of our faith change with us, our faith is going to change as well. It needs to adapt to the new circumstances that we find ourselves in. Otherwise, what is it? So whatever is going on for you today, or the things you may be looking towards for this last part of the calendar year, can you sense God's presence in those decisions? Can you seek God's presence when trying? In those places where you want to call it quits and say, no, I don't have enough to get this done. To ask, God, can you give me what I need to get it done? That's, I think, the ultimate question that Christ continues to ask all of us today. What do you need to accomplish your goals? What do you need to grow closer to God? What, in fact, in those places, people that you encounter, can you continue to be willing to be fashioned and molded to become the person God is calling you to be? Amen.